Eldergrove was a small village, tucked between soft green hills and tall pine trees that swayed in the breeze. In spring, flowers bloomed bright, yellow, purple, and white dotting the fields like spilled paint. Summer warmed the air, making the rivers sparkle and sing. Fall turned the leaves red and gold, crunching underfoot, while winter covered everything in soft snow, quiet as a whisper. The air smelled of fresh dirt, pine needles, or sometimes apple blossoms from nearby orchards. It was a place where everyone knew each other, where life felt warm and steady, like a fire on a cold night. The people of Eldergrove lived simply. Farmers worked the fields, their hands rough from digging in the dirt. Women like Elias sewed clothes, stitching love into every seam. Kids ran through the streets, laughing and chasing each other with sticks. Old folks like Marta shared stories and homemade tea by the fire. At the center of it all was Hearth. Elias ran the bakery. He was a man in his 50s, with strong shoulders from years of carrying heavy flour sacks. His hair was graying, often sprinkled with flour like dust on a shelf. His brown eyes were kind but sad, with lines around them from smiling and worrying. He wore a worn apron, smudged with butter and berry juice, tied tight around his waist. Elias moved like he belonged there, his hands strong but gentle, shaping dough or stirring a pot of jam. Elias came to Eldergrove as a young man, following Myra, the woman he loved. They built the bakery together, starting with a small shed and turning it into a place the village loved. Myra was full of ideas, sweet rolls with cinnamon, bread with swirls, tarts filled with berries. Her laugh used to fill the kitchen, bright as sunlight. But 5 years ago, she got sick with a fever and passed away, leaving Elias alone. He kept baking, each loaf like a way to hold onto her memory. Their son, Theo, was their pride. Born on a night with a big, golden moon, he had Myra's quick smile and Elias' steady hands. As a kid, he'd sit in the kitchen, covered in flour, shaping little loaves and giggling. "Show the dough who's boss, Theo," Elias would say, helping him push the soft mix. But Theo wanted adventure. At 16, he left a note. "Pa, I'm off to see the world. I'll be back. Love, Theo." 7 years later, Elias still kept the note in a drawer, reading it when the nights felt too quiet. Baking became his way to keep going, a way to feel close to Myra and Theo. Every morning, Elias woke before the sun. He lit the oven, watching the flames dance on the bricks. He mixed flour, water, and yeast, his hands sinking into the dough like it was part of him. "Flour makes it strong, water keeps it alive, fire gives it heart," he'd say softly, almost like a prayer. The dough rose, went into the oven, and came out as golden loaves with crispy crusts and soft insides. It was hard work, but it made Elias feel whole. But the bakery had a secret. Elias' bread could make wishes come true. If someone shaped a loaf and spoke their wish, the bread would carry it, and when it was eaten, the wish would happen. But there was a catch. The person who ate the bread would feel the wisher's deepest pain, like a heavy weight in their heart. It was a strange magic, both wonderful and hard, tying people together through joy and sorrow. The magic started on a stormy night, when rain poured down and thunder shook the village. The wind howled, rattling the bakery's shutters. Elias was alone, Myra gone, Theo away. He'd put out the oven's fire and was ready for bed when someone knocked, soft but steady, like they wouldn't give up. He opened the door to find an old woman, soaked from the rain. Her cloak was torn, her white hair wild with sticks caught in it. She held a wooden stick with a glowing stone on top, like a tiny star. "Please, baker," she said, her voice rough but kind. "A warm corner for a tired traveler." Elias let her in because that's what people did in Eldergrove. He brought her to the fire, adding logs until it crackled. She took off her cloak, showing a dress with faded patterns sewn into it. Elias made her tea with dried flowers, its steam curling up like smoke. They sat quietly at first, the storm loud outside. Then she spoke. "Name's Lila," she said, holding the tea close. "I used to work with fire, making light for the world. Now I walk alone, my magic broken, running from shadows." She told stories of places she'd been, lands with tall mountains, fights where her fire saved lives, a friend who turned against her. Elias listened, his own sadness feeling close to hers. He added wood to the fire, keeping it bright. When the clock struck midnight, Lura stood, her stick glowing softly. "You've been kind, Baker. Here's something for you." She tapped the oven's door with her stick, and a tiny blue spark jumped out. It floated around Elias, then dove into the oven. The flames flared up, then calmed, the bricks warm and humming. "Now your oven listens," Lura said, smiling. "Bake a wish into the bread and it'll come true. But the one who eats it carries the wisher's pain. Light and shadow always together." She walked into the storm, gone like a dream. Elias stared at the oven, smelling something new, sweet, sharp, alive. He thought it was just a story, but the next morning changed everything. A man named Garrick came in, a traveler with a tired face and a mule carrying pots. "Bread for the road," he said, counting out coins. As Elias worked the dough, Garrick mumbled, "Wish I had gold to make life easier." The dough felt warm, almost buzzing. Elias baked it, gave it to Garrick, and watched him eat as he walked away. By noon, Garrick ran back, laughing. "Gold, Baker! A cart tipped over, coins everywhere. I grabbed some, all fair." His pockets were heavy, but then his face changed. He sat down hard, crying. "My family! I left them for this life. They're in my head, angry." Elias understood. The wish worked, but Garrick's sadness, his guilt for leaving home, went into the bread, and he felt it now. Garrick left, promising to write to his family, his steps slow. Elias looked at the oven. It hummed, waiting. He could break it, stop the magic. But Eldergrove needed hope, and the bread gave it. He decided to keep going, careful and quiet. The story of the magic bread spread slowly. Garrick told it at the Pine Knot, the village inn, over a mug of ale. "Bread that changes things," he said, "but it hurts too." The innkeeper, Harlan, laughed, but his wife tried it. She wished for rain for their dry fields, ate the bread, and clouds came that night. The village started talking. People came to the bakery one by one, nervous but hopeful. Elias told them the truth. "Say your wish while you mix the dough. It'll happen, but whoever eats the bread feels your sadness." Some left, happy with regular bread. Others stayed, their wishes too big to ignore. Old Tom, a farmer, came first. His fields were dry, his face worried. "Rain," he said, mixing the dough with shaky hands. Elias helped, feeling the wish sink in. Tom gave the loaf to Will, a young neighbor. Rain fell that night, soft and steady, saving Tom's crops. But Will woke up sad, dreaming of Tom's son who died young, the pain of words Tom never said. Will went to Tom, talked it out, and they cried together. The sadness got lighter, and Will's garden grew better than ever. Then Clara, a young woman getting married, came. Her sweetheart, Jonas, was unsure. "I want love that lasts," she said, shaping a small loaf. Her sister Bess ate it by the river. Jonas came back, promising forever, but Bess felt Clara's fear of being left alone from when their mom died young. Bess told Elias, crying. He gave her plain bread and said, "Talk to Clara, it helps." They did, and their sisterhood grew stronger. Some wishes went wrong. A shopkeeper, Hale, wanted more business. His loaf went to Finn, the blacksmith. Hale got his trade, but Finn felt Hale's guilt for cheating a friend long ago. Finn's hammer stopped until he made Hale fix it. The pain stayed like a bruise. Elias wrote it all down in a book he kept hidden. Each wish, each pain, each step toward healing. He never ate the bread himself. His own sadness, Myra's death, Theo's absence, was too much to share. The village started calling him Keeper of the Hearth, a name that felt right but heavy. Lila was a girl of 10, born on a night full of shooting stars, Alara always said. Her hair was dark and curly, her eyes green like the hills, freckles on her nose like tiny stars. Her dad, a sailor, was lost at sea before she could remember him. Alara raised her in a little cottage with a leaky roof but a warm fire. Alara sang songs about faraway places, her needles sewing clothes to keep them fed. But times got hard. The fields dried up, money was tight, and Alara's sewing wasn't enough. One spring morning, she packed a bag. "I'm going to the city, Lila," she said. "Better work there, more coins for us, I'll be back soon." Lila hugged her tight, watching her mom's shawl disappear down the road. Alara's letters came at first, full of city stories, busy streets, fancy dresses she sewed, enough money for food. Then they stopped. Lila waited by the gate, her toys forgotten, her heart heavy. She walked the woods, picking berries, talking to the trees, asking them to bring her mom home. The village helped, Harlan with milk, Marta with tea, but the cottage felt empty. In the city, Alara worked hard, sewing until her hands hurt. The city was loud, full of tall buildings and dark corners. She got sick, fell behind, felt trapped. She stopped writing, too ashamed to say she couldn't come home yet.
One fall evening, with frost in the air and leaves falling like a red snow, Lila walked into Hearth and Hope. The bell jingled, her small hand holding a shiny coin, Alara's last gift to her. Elias looked up, his heart soft for the girl. "I want the special bread," she said, her voice small but strong. "What's your wish, Lila?" he asked, bending down to her. "My mom," she said. "She went to the city and didn't come back. I want her home and happy." Elias took a slow breath. He knew Alara, her kind smile, her quick hands. The city could be cruel, and her pain might be too big for Lila. "The bread makes wishes real," he said, "but it gives the eater your mom's sadness. It could be heavy, Lila, maybe too heavy for you." Her eyes shone, fierce. "I don't care. I need her back." He couldn't say no to that kind of love. As the sun set, he lit the oven, its fire bright and warm. He helped Lila mix the dough, her small hands pushing hard, whispering her wish. The loaf baked small and golden, smelling like hope. He wrapped it in a cloth and gave it to her. "Eat it tonight under the stars. Come back if it's too much." Lila smiled, big and bright, and ran home, leaving the coin behind. Elias watched her go, his stomach tight, knowing the magic's price. That night, Lila sat outside her cottage, the stars twinkling above. She held the warm loaf, tearing off pieces, each bite sweet and soft. "Mom, come home," she whispered, eating every crumb. A breeze rustled the trees, like an answer. 3 days later, at dawn, Alara walked into Eldergrove. Her shawl was worn, her face tired, but her eyes lit up when she saw Lila running towards her. "My girl," she said, hugging her tight, their tears mixing. They went home, holding hands, the villagers cheering. Harlan brought ale, Tom gave apples, and Marta sent tea. Alara told stories of the city, bright markets, kind strangers, hard days. Lila listened, happy but feeling something new stirring inside her. On the 5th day, rain came, cold and gray. Lila woke with a heavy feeling, like a rock in her chest. Alara smiled, sang, baked tarts, but Lila could feel her mom's sadness and guilt for leaving, worry she wasn't good enough, the pain from the city's hard times. Lila sat by the fire, crying quietly. The weight is too much. She ran to the bakery, rain dripping from her hair. Elias saw her, pulled her inside, and wrapped her in a blanket. He made tea, sat her by the fire, and listened. "It's Mom. She's hurting," Lila said, voice shaking. "She thinks she failed me. It's so heavy, Elias." He hugged her, remembering his own pain, Myra's sickness, Theo's leaving. "You're strong, Lila," he said. "This sadness isn't yours forever.
Talk to your mom.
It'll get lighter." Lila nodded, her tears slowing, the fire warming her. Lila's story spread fast. The villagers wanted to help. That week, people started coming to the bakery at night, sitting around the big table. Alara came too, telling stories of the city, funny ones about tripping in markets, sweet ones about friends she made. Everyone laughed, shared plain bread, and the room felt warm. Lila's heavy feeling got lighter, like the sadness was shared among them all. Marta brought tea, Ronan played his fiddle, and the nights became a habit. People told their own stories, sad ones, happy ones, and the pain from the bread felt smaller. Lila started smiling again, her mom's arm around her. Winter came, snow covering Eldergrove like a soft blanket. The bakery was busy, the oven glowing. One snowy morning, The door opened, and Theo stood there. He was tall, his coat dusted with snow, his eyes like Elias's. "Pa," he said, with his voice low. "Heard about your bread. Came to see you." Elias stopped, dough in his hands. They sat, talked, cried a little. Theo told of faraway places, mistakes he made, missing home. Elias shared his loneliness, the bakery's magic. They baked together, laughing, flour everywhere. The past wasn't gone, but it felt softer, like dough ready to rise. Spring came, the hills green again. Lila helped in the bakery, her hands quick with dough. One day, she looked at Elias, flour on her face. "The bread hurts, but it helps, too. Mom and I talk now, really talk." It made us closer. Elias smiled, Theo nodding beside him. "That's the real magic, Lila. Pain and love mixed together." The oven stayed lit, its fire warm. Elias didn't think about stopping it anymore. The bread was like life. Hard sometimes, but full of hope. In Hearth and Hope, that hope shone bright, lighting up Eldergrove's days and nights.